Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hivemind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. Boy, oh boy, do I have a clip to show you guys today. Holy freaking crap. I mean, this is one of those situations where it all gets put into perspective, where you're sitting back and you realize it's so much worse than you thought it was. This right here, folks, this is the definition of a DEI hire. This right here is a viral representation of the issue as we identify it. We're gonna get into a couple viral clips here and of course try to make a point. But before we get into any of it, this video is actually brought to you guys by a sponsor, so let's play that clip. This video is brought to you guys by American Hartford Gold. Donald Trump is back in the White House and America is on track to make the biggest economic revival in history. The economy is likely to surge, investment is pouring in and confidence is returning. And in times like these, it's important to invest properly. And that, my friends, is where American Hartford Gold steps in. Because as we all know, one of the best ways to protect your wealth is by investing in precious metals, that's gold and silver. And friends, American Hartford Gold is simply the best in the business when it comes to protecting you from economic downturns. They have 5-star ratings across the board with an A+ rating at the Better Business Bureau. In other words, they're a market leader in the space, helping Americans lock in their financial security by diversifying into real tangible assets. And I know that sounds good, but trust me, it gets even better. All you gotta do is give them a call and they'll send physical gold and silver straight to your doorstep, or they can help you add it to your IRA or 401k. Zero hassle, just smart investing. Actually, it gets even better because American Hartford Gold is currently running a special right now where you could get up to $15,000 in free silver on qualifying purchases. So what are you guys waiting for? Sure, things look like they're on the up and up right now, but history tells you it doesn't last forever. The incompetent buffoons will at some point bring on hard times and you gotta protect yourself. And so to get that process started, all you gotta do is call 844-440-1005. That's 844-440-1005, or text Hivemind, that's Hivemind one word, to 65532. Again, text Hivemind to 65532, and they'll get you guys set on the right track. A huge thank you to American Hartford Gold. Now back to the video. All right, folks, so just like I said earlier, this is the absolute definition of a DEI hire, right on display.
What the chain of command is now?
What does that mean? What does that mean?
Well, is it Pam Bondi speaking to the mayor, speaking to you, or how does this work?
So the executive order is clear. The president has requested MPD services, and our home rule charter outlines the process. The president designated Attorney General Bondi as his proxy to request services through me.
That's Washington, D.C.'s police chief, just caught in an embarrassing moment where she literally didn't know what chain of command meant. Freezing in the moment, and you could see Muriel Bowser's face in the background, the sheer panic on her face as she realizes her frickin' sheriff is completely clueless. Then of course, fight or flight kicks in, and Muriel Bowser steps in the way to physically step in and take over the mic because the police chief of the nation's capital is confused by the most basic entry-level leadership term in law enforcement. I mean, you cannot sugarcoat this. Absolute humiliation. And it all comes down to this concept of DEI and representation. They told you it was progressive, it was about moving forward, but a reduction in basic standards and aptitude doesn't sound like progression, that sounds like regression. And in my view, this clip is proof of what happens when you build a hiring pipeline around immutable characteristics instead of actual qualifications and merit. This is what you get. You get lack of results, or in this case, backwards results, skyrocketing crime in DC despite them cherry-picking the latest numbers, and then of course, leaders who can't even handle a frickin' press conference. You get a police chief who doesn't understand basic definition, and frankly, the definition of the literal structure of her own job. She's the police chief, you know, there's a chain of command. But I don't know these days. Maybe there isn't. Maybe they're running some sort of feminist communist police collective where they formed a little utopic commune at the police HQ. They got a community garden in the backyard, tending to their crops, and everybody's equal at the woke DC police commune. There is no chain of command, no hierarchy structure. No, just a bunch of woke frickin' comrades. Holy moly, I mean, obviously something's happening here. You know, I know it's a sensitive, controversial topic cause race, but we've all seen it. We've all seen this massive explosion in representation, especially in Democrat cities or in the woke corporations or woke media. Overnight, there's a flood of minority executives and public officials officials, spokespeople, and media personalities and actors. Now, following the civil rights movement and, living in a more globalist world, I guess, what else can you say, especially with the economy? We're more interconnected in trade and relations with foreign nations than ever before. And so it's natural you're going to see European businessmen, you're going to see Indian businessmen, Russians, Chinese, you'll see some Arab princes. Society has gotten more diverse. And of course, the whole thing was there needed to be representation for that diversity. But as we know, the left just couldn't let it happen, right? They couldn't let it be naturally. No, they had to force the outcomes. They had to take money out of your pocket to then fund the woke DEI machine, both in the public and private sector. They had to force the outcome, equity, or cultural Marxism as we know it. And that, of course, led to a very unnatural, forced representation. Overnight, total demographics takeover, way out of proportion to any organic trend, obviously not natural, totally forced, fake, all for show, the Democrat DEI show, right? And clearly in that environment where you create public, political, social, and even financial incentives to hire people based on skin color, well, inevitably you're going to see people land in positions that they are totally unqualified for. What more proof do you need other than the Democrats picking Kamala Harris as Joe Biden's VP and then being insane enough to push her to lead a presidential ticket? This is why DEI is bad, folks. Diversity, equity, and inclusion. Ooh, fluffy, warm words. It sounds good on paper, but then the problem is when you actually start putting it on paper, laws, legislation, yada yada, well then you create perverse incentives and the whole system of meritocracy gets flipped upside down. And meritocracy, a true meritocracy, and especially clean, good competition, these are probably two of the most important concepts when it comes to building a society, a good society. Well, Democrats built the exact opposite, a society that told people that they were owed something, owed a role, purely based on their identity, not performance. And now the Democrats have created a culture where this is the type of stuff that makes it to the stage and rallies the crowd.
Hell no, we won't go. When we say we won't go, that means we're not going to those mass incarcerations, into their prisons and enslavement. We won't go into their ICE, those what do you call his beautiful centers that he got. We won't go to where alligators live. Hell no, we won't go. Hell no, we won't go. Hell no, we won't go.
Oh yeah, you tell Donald Trump. How brainwashed do you have to be? You are in a freaking cult if this is the stuff that you are uplifting. It's unbelievable. I don't even know what she said. But that's what makes the stage at Democrat rallies. That's a Democrat thought leader. And the other chick was a Democrat police chief. And this chick...
So Wisconsin, ultimately this election is about a question that we each face. We each face a question in this election. I think it's very important for us at every moment in time, and certainly this one, to see the moment in time in which we exist and are present. He said, concepts of a plan. Who fight for freedom. They see what can be, and they're unburdened by what has been.
That was the Democrat presidential nominee, or selectee. Holy freaking crap. And the left will tell you you're a racist. But what is racist? I haven't mentioned skin color outside of the broader context of hiring based on skin color. I'm simply showing you displays of lack of competence. Clearly, Kamala Harris is freaking 90 IQ. And her entire career is, I'm a minority woman who is powerful and independent. That's what got her to the VP pick. Everybody knows it, but nobody wants to say it. Or it's taboo to say it. There's nothing taboo. Again, it's the soft bigotry of low expectations. Creating this culture where your skin color comes first, your identity comes first, your lived experience. The only thing that should lead is what you can do. What have you done? What are your qualifications? And if you're not leading with that, then you end up with this Democrat DEI career ladder that we've seen that's morphed into this weird race-obsessed cult that elevates the most incompetent people into power based on performative identity quotas instead of actual ability. You end up with a ragtag crew of incompetents who start embarrassing your party and running it into the freaking ground. A la Jasmine Croquette. Anyways, just a funny viral moment of incompetence. And as per usual, I thought it spoke to a bigger concept. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to leave a like and possibly subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.